So you make it into the daycare, and somebody left a present box on a toilet seat. I don't know how somebody left it there, and I don't even know why anybody would put it there in the first place. It doesn't make any sense. You also get a note that talks about how children are actually afraid of the daycare attendant. Why would Fazbear Entertainment ever design something intentionally creepy in an area intended for children? That doesn't... What? Unless it's unintentionally creepy, in which case it doesn't even make sense, because how can you possibly create this thing...
Naughty boy. Naughty boy.
...and not expect children to be afraid of it? Also, why is there a gift box on the side of the fountain? There are out-of-order doors here, but if you look at the map, there's nothing behind them. Why are there doors here? Yes, they're broken, but just because they're broken doesn't mean that they were made to be broken. Obviously, there would be something behind it. Why is there nothing behind there on the map? I will give this game credit where credit is due. I like the daycare music. Why would the sun and moon statues show the exposed wires on the back of their head? Not only is that a waste of time and resources, but the children might be afraid of it. There are stationary balloons that aren't clipped to anything. If a balloon isn't clipped to something, it's just gonna float away. So, how do you mess up balloons? How do you mess up balloons? Steelwool can't even get balloons right. There's a crumpled up piece of paper right next to the trash can. I mean, that's not a plot hole or anything. It is possible for that to happen, so it's not really a valid criticism, but it bothered me anyway. So I'm gonna put it in the video anyway. You can see that there aren't any staff bots guarding this place, but this is a daycare where the most vulnerable people in the entire building would be. So therefore security should be there in order to protect them. Especially since children have already gone missing at these establishments in-universe. The entrance to the daycare is a slide directly into a ball pit. This is incredibly unsafe, as somebody going into the slide to enter the daycare could then just immediately land on top of another person who's standing there. You can't see the end of the slide, so you don't know if you're going to land on somebody. Also, the daycare attendant jumps into the ball pit to enter the room. How is that supposed to be safe? Falling objects kill people! Especially since he has spikes all over his face. Everybody has to go through the ball pit to get to the rest of the daycare. So literally everybody who enters the daycare could get jumped on. And even if Fazbear Entertainment didn't care about safety, why would they still program this guy to do it? Since jumping this long distance would 100% damage him and also some of the balls in the ball pit. So the replacement of the balls and the repairing for him would get costly. We know that repairing animatronics is costly, and we know that Fazbear Entertainment wants to save money. Why would they ever program him to jump into the hole? It's stupid from every single conceivable angle. Sun tells you that.
There is only one rule. Keep the lights on. On. On.
And then immediately refuses to let you walk away from him.
There is only one rule!
Liar!
You can distract him by knocking over these barrels, giving you the chance to run away. He'll stop to restack them, and then go right back to forcing you to be in a specific spot right next to him. While this does teach players the fact that they can distract him by knocking down the barrels, which some players might not even realize since you have to use it against the moon guy, not the sun guy, during the part where the lights are out. It's also detrimental because it makes you unable to explore the area of the daycare, which you're going to have to do since you have to go looking for things that are within it. But the section that you are actually able to explore the daycare in is completely in the dark. The security desk doesn't have any kind of lock or barrier to stop non-security personnel from entering it. It also lets you take a security badge so you can impersonate an employee. How did this security oversight make it into the system? Also, when you're behind the desk, Sun says,
New friend, this area is off limits. You're gonna get us in trouble.
Do I need to play the clip again?
There is only one rule.
Picking up the badge, for some reason, makes the lights turn off. And Sun says this.
Oh, no! Why would you do that? Lights on! Lights on! I warned you! I warned you!
Sun did say not to turn the lights off, but also what Gregory did was not at all related to the lights. So Sun shouldn't have been mad at him for doing this. The lights just happened to turn off.
You need to find the emergency backup generators and turn them on. They are in the play structures.
Were these architects drunk? How did anybody think that was a good idea? Not only are they in the vicinity of children, but also, why would they not just all be in one spot? That would be so much easier for anybody trying to repair the system. How is a full-on adult repair person supposed to be able to fit in the play structures anyway? How is Moon able to hang from the ceiling with this single cable? How is he even controlling the cable in the first place? That doesn't make any sense. But how is he able to hang from it? He's a full-on robot. You cannot convince me that a robot is light enough to be able to be held by a single cable. This is literally suspension of disbelief. You can't really avoid Moon when you're in the play structure, so the optimal strategy is to just run around in a circle around the entire daycare, knocking down as many barrels as possible, and then also going back to the security desk once you hear him say something that doesn't clean up, because that means that he's free to chase you now. So then you just wait until you know exactly where he is because you're at the security desk and he can't get you there, and then you just run out and do the whole circle loop again. The game also gives you a flashlight in this section, which is nice, but you need to recharge it every once in a while, which is just a completely pointless mechanic because the flashlight recharge stations are everywhere and take a couple of seconds to use. The fact that you have to recharge the flashlight is just a waste of your time. There's also a save station in the security office, but once the lights go out, the save station crashes for some reason, even though the flashlight recharge still works and the screen right next to the recharge station and save station still works. So how come it was specifically the lights in this save station that aren't working anymore? Why did they decide to make it from a game design perspective so that the save station was broken? All that does is inconvenience the player by forcing them to replay stuff that they've already done if they happen to die after turning on a few generators. Also, where does Moon get his hat from? I mean, I know the spikes were tracked into his head, but this hat just materializes out of nowhere. Also, the generators have color-coded wires attached to them, but they have two color-coded wires attached to them. One of which leads to the generator, and the other one of which leads from the generator to a light that's attached to the generator. But because you're going to have to be going through the play structures, you won't always be able to see where each of these wires starts and ends. So you get inconvenienced because the game ends up directing you to a light instead of the actual generators. After you turn the lights back on, the daycare attendant just disappears entirely, even if some of the barrels are still left down, even though it was already established that he prioritizes cleaning the barrels over anything else. To exit this room, you have to walk toward this door, but instead of actually exiting through the door, you have to go to the side and push this tiny button that's hard to see on the side of it, and then a cutscene plays where Sun just throws you out of the daycare. Why not just have you walk toward the door and then get kicked out? Why does the button have to be there? All it does is complicate things, and it's annoying to see anyway. Okay, my editing software keeps crashing, so I think at this point I'm done editing this part of the video, considering how many clips I've used and stuff like that. My computer memory is running low, so I'm gonna have to end it here, and I'm gonna have to continue talking about the daycare in the next part, which is very unsatisfying, but I apologize.